Welcome back to the grind. Here it is. What's that? That's a Hillman, right? So this week we did, or this time we did. This car creates an awful lot of footage. What did I get done this week? This time, got a radiator water system in. Seems to be working okay. Car runs, and I got the fuel pump correct and pumping fuel from this tank right here up and over down there and then up to there, so it seems to work. So that's pretty good progress. So hopefully if you stick around you see everything that went on, and also did a little bit of work on that clutch over there too, the clutch master cylinder. Once again, as usual, as always, maybe. Okay, so stick around, you'll see what's going on, and come on back for more later. There will be more. See you later. Bye for now. Okay, here I am back at it. So now, last week was all about the hydraulics there and getting them going properly, and a bunch of work on the carburetor. Carburetor's not done yet. I've ordered a new diaphragm in here, but don't you know there's a mail strike on, so it might be a little while getting here now. Then today I'm going to put in the water pump. Not that one. The one that is new over here somewhere. Yeah, right there. And it's a funny thing, this water pump. Well, you see this one bolt that comes with it is flathead here, and this is above. This doesn't hook into the block anywhere. Those 4 bolts there hook into the block. This one's above the block. That one there is the bypass hose from the top of it. This one goes to the bottom radiator, and then the top radiator comes out of that over there. Through the what do you call that, thermostat housing. Anyhow, then have a fan, have a hub, and I have this part here that goes between the fan and the hub. And I went today, oh yeah, and here's this thing here too, which I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do that first, aren't I? Went today and got a bunch of nuts and bolts, because I'm always scrounging for nuts and bolts. So these are proper nuts and bolts, good ones. Lots of nuts, lots of bolts. But these are metric, standard, and the right size for this thing here. So that's what's going to happen now. And the rebuild kit came for that fuel pump, so I'll do that too. Like there's. Should be all the bits you need for that. We hope. And a belt, a drive belt for the water pump. Got to be a pulley on there somehow or other. Wonder if I have a pulley for that. Don't know. I thought I might back here. I have to look through all my stuff. I know there's a fan right there. Is there a pulley with the fan? No pulley with the fan. There's a old water pump there. I'll just check out stuff in there. Might have to find a pulley for it. Yeah, I dug around the trunk, and don't you know there's a pulley. That's good news. There's a fan. That's good news too. So I'll see about how it goes on here. This thing here, maybe I'll move my fuel supply. I don't know what happened there. Hey, what was that? Just put my, oh, by the way, that's leaking pretty bad there. Did I say that before? But it leaks out that accelerator pump. So I've taken the measurements from that, and hopefully I can find one online. I've saw a bunch of them online that one of them must do it. Who knows, eh? Anyway, looks like those pointers go for top dead center stuff, and that'd be a pointer right there maybe for top dead center stuff. Yeah, and I think there's some degree markers on there. That doesn't, we won't get into that right away, but we will get into this right away. 1, 2, 3, must be a fourth. Yeah, number 4, and number 4 is full of mud. I hope it's mud and not a broken bolt. Yeah, I think it's mud. Good. Isn't that something you say? It's good that it's mud, right? Okay, so this has to go up above. That gets out of the way somewhere up there. So it looks like it goes on. Let me see. There's got to be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. Uh-oh. Maybe like that. But uh-oh, maybe it's not the right one. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh dear. Okay. I'll get the other one out and just see what it looks like. Yeah, that's about the weirdest thing on the planet. Anyhow, but it'll work. So the it comes with this bolt here that's countersunk, and that creates a that's the 5th hole. These 4 holes will line up with these gaskets. Like one of these gaskets will line up here somehow or other, like that, right there, and that'll make so I think the pump came with a gasket, and then I ordered this extra gasket, so it seems to be a thicker one, the extra one, so I'll use it. Yeah, and this has a gasket there. That, okay. Yep. And it's the same pump as the old one. So this bypass here goes into that spot, which would be that spot. This one here would have went to the heater. So I'll just do a bypass from that back to here, and I won't bother with the heater for now. And that'll be all the hoses. And this one here goes to the top of the radiator, and I have a bottom radiator hose hooked onto the radiator. So yeah, that'll all fit in there. So before I put the water pump in, I'm going to do this and get it in the right spot, because there's room to do it now. And that will likely turn into a tomorrow job anyhow, because it's 4 o'clock. Okay, I'll get that off of it. I'm happy that the water pump is going to fit on there. I'll clean the mud out of those holes and chase those threads, and then that should be all okay. And I do have nothing wrong with this one. This one here is in fine shape. Hey. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I guess it was seized, or whoever took it apart had some problems. This one, yeah, and there's that bit there. I think this bit here is equal to that bit there, or this bit, I don't know, used to be on there somehow or other, but I will happily ignore all that. I think maybe it used to be, let's see, this goes on like that. Then there used to be, yes, there was this that went on, because that's got threads. Yeah, that's threaded. So that bit equals that bit, which is pressed on there from the factory. That bit goes on, that bit goes on there, and then that goes on there. How's that? That looks like it's a winning deal. Cool. So I do have water pump and everything and accessories. I'll clean that up and paint it and make it look better. And first off, I'll get this thing here out of here. Yeah, so I cleaned these things up with a wire wheel, that one there, for this stuff, that, and that. It's in pretty nice shape for, you know, how old it is. And so I'll just give them a, you know, the $5 overhaul with the paint there, make them look good. Find some place to hang them here so I can do that. Yeah, they've been painted up. That looks a bit better. And this thing here is out and ready for tomorrow. So I'll see if I can get, I'll work on that tomorrow, get that into place properly, I hope. And then I'll see if I can get the water pump on it. Before I go, I'm going to quit now, but before I go, I'll see if I can get the mud out of those holes there and see how things are. Yeah, so these parts, they come from a place called Hillman Spares. You can find that on the internet somewhere. That's, where am I pointing here? Down here a bit. That's the diaphragm. And then it's got a couple of different types of these things here. I think that this one goes against the motor, because, let me see now. This one goes on here, like that. This goes on here, like that. Then this can go against the motor, and that won't interfere with it, like that'll go back and forth there. This sits on top of the cam in the motor, so we'll get that right eventually. And then there's this one here. Don't know what that's for. That's for, wonder what that's for. Don't know. Anyway, these ones here I'll just put aside for until I need them. That one and that one. Then it comes with these two new valves and two little gaskets for them. So this comes off. I cleaned this all out in the ultrasonic cleaner last week sometime. That's the filter for it there. I'll move that out of the way. It came with two of these gaskets. I wonder, must be just tight. Yeah, one's slightly bigger than the other, so this one here is the right one for in here, which we'll get in there soon as I get this other one out. Yeah, something that's been there for 50 or 60 years is a bit difficult to get it out there. There. That one's done. New one goes in. It's mostly pretty clean in there, but a little bit of scum right here. That stuff there I'm not worried about, because this is actually the filter too. So a bunch of the, anyway. That part's done. Screwdriver. Okay, this thing here, I got that tab pointing there. Don't know if that's the right spot or not, but, and it just fits in on a little, like it'll only fit one way. These tabs here on this one are slightly bigger, so they fit onto the, like they have to fit into don't know if I can get that apart or not. Yeah, there's a little thing there. Might be able to take that apart, and then I'll see about what they have to fit onto. Yeah, it might be easier said than done getting this apart. No, I think I won't take that apart. This one here, you can see where it fits on there, but it'll turn right around. Those tabs have to be a bit bigger. There now, I made them slightly bigger. Where is my measuring device? Had it in my hand a minute ago. Right here. So this washer here, see how thick that is? It fits in there, you know, a little bit of looseness. This one now it fits in, and it wouldn't fit in before. All I did was widen them a bit with a file. I think that one should be a bit wider. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, so now that goes in and turns like that. So it'll fit on the spot where it has to fit in here. It has to go in there and turn like it's got to go in straight and then turn a quarter turn to lock onto the slot thing there. So if it goes right here, oops, I missed. Got to make sure it's on the proper thing. Then to make a quarter turn, and it should line up with some of these holes like that. And I think that's in there tight. That's in there good now. Okay. That's that part done. This thing here, find the right screwdriver. There it is. That little thing holds them down, and there's these two valves. This one's the incoming valve, this one's the outgoing valve, and there's a little wash, like this little washer in there, but it replaces with these things here. One, two, then this one goes this way because of incoming, that one goes that way for outgoing, and that creates the pumping action. This goes back on like that. It's got a bit of a crown to it, so it makes it a bit of a spring on there, right? Pretty simple device. That's all together now. Now put the two halves back together. Is that what happens? Yeah, I think so. And goes about like that. Yeah, so if you look, you can look in underneath here. I don't know, you can't see, but you can look in underneath and see that it's going that way to the side to side. This got an air hole down here to let it vent. Like they leak a little bit of oil there sometimes, but that's what British cars are for, isn't it? This goes right like here. And I'll get a screw in one of these ones. So that tab is in a different spot now, but I don't think it doesn't. There's no mind to that. Doesn't matter where it is. Well, it matters, but. Now, sounds like it's doing it. I think it's working. Get it on the car and find out. Sounds like it. Okay, there you go. That's all together. Okay, there are the fuel pumps in there. Haven't got it hooked onto anything. I will likely hook it onto, I'll hook it onto here and see if it'll pump fuel somehow. Somehow I'll get it hooked on. We'll see what happens. And then, what's next after that? Right now I'm going to go after this water pump business, right? And it goes on right here. See if I can figure that out. Okay, here's dry fit. Anyhow, this thing here, the hose, it's got to be a 3/4 hose to go on that one, and a 5/8 hose to go on that one. So I took a 3/4 hose, that long, and then I put that much 5/8 hose inside it, and then I'll clamp that tight, and that'll be a reducer for the for that. And it seems that it sits in the right spot here, and it will turn. So I guess we're getting there. Then I'll just check and see if the where that thing's gonna go on here. This thing. Whether it has to go there, which I think it does, and then the spacer goes on the other side of it. Does that look straight to you? I can't tell from where I am. I'll check the footage later. I think it's pretty straight. Then the oops. This part here goes on here, then the fan goes on top of that. Methinks. Yeah, that makes some sort of sense. Hey? Anyway, we'll see. Take both of these over and see. Yeah, that seems to be like the way it goes, and then the fan goes on there, and that should be good. So I'll press that in hard. How does that look? Does that look like it lines up? I think it does. I think that's pretty close. Anyway, that's what we have. So I'll put that on tomorrow, because it's quitting time again today, 5:15. Anyhow, a little bit of a shorter day today, but had pond problems out there. Bye for now. Okay, here I am back at it. See if I can get this water pump on here. Here's the like what happens here, right? gets blocked. That hole there gets, oops, where am I pointing? That hole there gets blocked, but I guess it doesn't really matter because it only needs one entry, and then it starts, it pushes that way and then pushes through the whole car and back again. So that's all it needs, right? So first off, the water pump side is here, and this gasket gets put on there. Then this goes on like that, and this one bolt goes through because it has to be tightened down before it all gets on the car. Then the other bolts go through, and from when you put it on the car, and I've got a gasket here somewhere for it. Where did I see the gasket? Over here. One of these two. This one here is just a little paper one. This one here is a bit, this one's a bit thicker, so I'll use it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'll get the, whatever that stuff is, that stuff, and we'll put a coat of this aviation gasket stuff on it. And that's my soapy water for, well, I've got this thing here figured out. I think I showed you that yesterday. I put a 5/8 hose inside the 3/4 hose, and then I found a couple of clamps that'll do it. This is 2 clamps together. I guess it's got to go that way, right? Okay, we'll figure that out. So this plate's on here. I've got this tightened down, and then the rest of it is ready to go. So there's gasket, metal plate, gasket, and then it goes on the car. Now hopefully these bolts are long enough. They should be long enough, I hope. If not, I'll get longer ones. Oops, I was pointing the wrong way. These bolts like that long. I thought that was the right ones, but they might not be the right ones. Oh well, we'll see. Pumps in. All looks okay. Don't know what that one's for. For something, I'm sure. But I won't worry about it right now. Got to be a return for the heater hose somewhere in this thing. I don't see a return for the heater hose. Maybe I'll just block it, right? What does it do? It just goes out there and does nothing. So that must be the return for the heater hose right here. You put a little thing in there. Okay, now there's a piece that goes right in here. I don't know, can you see that? Right there, and that's where this thing for the generator comes up against to adjust the generator size. So I'll put the fan on, and I'll got new bolts for that. New bolts there. Oh boy, new bolts everywhere. Hey, and I found the inlet for the fuel pump. So I'll have a hose going to that soon too. Okay, now I'm getting distracted here. So I'll go from, where am I going? This thing here, right? Putting on the fan, then I'll make the belt, and then I'll figure out what I have to do there. Might have to take the fan off again just to be able to get easy access to that. Yeah, there the this thing here, this must be like that hole there. I'll have to build a piece that comes out here and goes like that. So I'll make a little piece of angle out to here and then put a tab on it to go this way. And that should do it, right? Yep, that should do it. Then I can put the, I think I can safely put the fan on soon. Then I'll put the radiator in, and maybe we'll see if we can get some water to it. This is the return for the, like that goes to the heater, from here to the heater. That's the return line, and the old line went right to here. So that's what goes in there, is a fitting to make a return line. You might have a fitting for that somewhere. You never know. Anyhow, well, I won't worry about it right now because I don't really want to have water going through the heater. Made to fit right in there like that. Then, whoa! Then that thing there will catch that hole there and it'll slide in there, right? Because this one here, you can just put one wrench on it and tighten it because it's threaded. I could have made that threaded, but I thought I'd do it this way instead. See how it works out. Anyway, I'll get that put on and tighten the belt, then I'll put the fan on there. Yeah, I'll put the fan on and then tighten the belt, right? Okay, I'll do that. Well, there, that's starting to look more like a motor, isn't it? It's got a fan, it's got a belt, it's got a generator hooked up. Hook the wires to the back of that. You have to hook this, put a bolt through there. That's pending. Pretty soon I have to do that. And then now I'll chase the threads down in these things. They're 5/16 fine thread also, like everything else on here. So I'll just thread them through and then I'll see about fitting the radiator in. This can go, well, not over there because I'm short the battery out. Don't know where that'll go. Somewhere. Maybe I'll loosen it here and turn it around 90 and then that'll pull that over to a better position. Well, anyway, later. Oops. Yeah, here's our radiator, complete with bottom rad hose. And it actually looks pretty good inside and out. I don't know what got spilled on it there. But the, like inside there, it looks fairly good. I don't know whether that's been re-cored sometime or what. And maybe I'll see if I can get that to move before I try putting it in. See what happens. Okay, radiators in the car. And this is the hose that came with it. It's flexible hose and it's steel wound, and the outside is rusting out, but the inside seems to be okay. So I'll just use it for a while. This one here I found laying around. I have to plug that hole over there. I'll do that, and then I'll fill it up with water and see if it drips out anywhere. See what happens. Okay, just a minute or two. Well, I guess that bottom rad hose isn't much good. There's the drip, drip, drip of failure. Anyway, I'll see what I can do about getting a rad hose for it, and then we'll go from there. But that's enough for today. Anyhow, the 5:10, so time to quit. See ya tomorrow. Oops. Yesterday I left off with dripping water, which I thought was coming out of this thing in the hose here. But we've got it filled up, that hose, and there's no water dripping, so it's not from there. It's from somewhere up here. Maybe I just didn't have that on tight enough. That's a fine clamp there. Whoops. Maybe I just didn't have that on tight enough on the connection here. I'll try it again and just see what happens. Oh, public enemy number one. Hit strikes again. I've got that hose clamped on there tighter this time. Let's see if I pour some water in here and see what happens. Suppose I should put that collection bucket underneath there. Didn't sound like it's dripping out this time. Not so quickly anyhow. Well, I think we have a secure system here. So how do I get this to get the airlock out of it? I suppose I could do it down there, but maybe I'll do it over there at the let me see. I'll go and loosen off one of those hoses over there and let air flow through it. I'll get another bucket full of water first though. Oops. There, everything is hooked up and it's full of water. It's not dripping anywhere. No water coming out. That one there I should plug off again, and then maybe we'll start it up and see what happens. Interesting. I'll get that plugged over there. There. Okay, fuel's on. Ignition's all set to go, and the key's turned on. This thing here, let's see if I can pump some fuel into it. Yeah, that pumps in. All right. So now, see if it'll start. Give it another couple of pumps, right? Lots of fuel coming out right there onto the hot manifold, right? That's running. Ignition light's still on, but it's bright now. I'll let it warm up for a few minutes. So that's running without a choke or anything. Yeah, bright red ignition light. I don't know what the gauges are on here. Amps going negative. No gauge there. Water here. Fuel there. Oh, there it stopped for no apparent reason, right? Oh, because I didn't loosen that again. So it doesn't like that. If you don't loosen that top here, then it doesn't like it creates a vacuum in here. And that won't let the fuel flow in. So just leave it a bit loose. Now I'll try it again, start it up again. Maybe it'll go. Whoa! Give it a couple of these things. Yeah, lots of fuel falls all out when you do that. Oh, I need 3 hands if I'm doing that. Hang on. Gotta set you up here. Give it about 5 or 10 minutes, see if it warms up and starts water flowing. I think I think water is flowing. It's warm. Temperature gauge hasn't moved. Don't know if that works or not. Don't even know if there's electricity to it. That would explain why the temperature gauge hasn't moved. Likely a wire for it here somewhere. Dripping water back there. Don't know if that's dripping out of the heater or what it's doing. No water in here. I think I better shut it off. Well, there. Water on everything now, eh? I'll let the clean off your lens here a bit. How's that? So, that was water coming out over the top and then going through the radiator into the fan and steam everywhere. Let's see what the temperature is. I don't know. I don't think it got too hot. 75, 65, 59, 62, 62, 63, 60, 54. Can't really see into there, eh? 71, 65, 44, 73. Yeah, about the same all the way across for temperature, so that's a good sign. 70, 36. See what the bottom hose says. 34, 22, 67 at the thermostat. So how come? I guess it needs to have a radiator cap on it to keep it from bubbling out, eh? To hold some pressure. But I want to flush the radiator anyhow because that's a little bit mucky there. So we'll run it a couple of times and flush the radiator out. Put more water in it and do it again. Anyway, that's cool. I'll turn off the gas if I can. That's a two-handed operation. Empty in there now. Wonder if there's a rad cap for it somewhere. Used up from there to there for fuel, so it's actually, you know, the fuel's going into it. Well, that's encouraging. Not exactly the results I anticipated, but you know, you can't have everything. Now I'll figure out how come it's not charging one of these days. It might be in that box right over there, which is the voltage regulator. And if it gets to run fairly good, I'll what I'll do is you can get an alternator for it and put a modern electrical system into it. Change it over to positive ground. That wouldn't hurt anything. Anyway, let it be for now. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I found this wire back there. Happens to reach up to here. And I think that might be the one. I've got the key turned on. Let's see what happens here, if there's any temperature showing. A little bit up. Huh. Maybe it's working. We'll just monitor that next time, right? I don't know, might be some fuse issues there. Let me just see here. What's that? Oh, can you see that? What's that when I turn the key off? See if it drops. I think it dropped. I'm not sure. Well, anyway, we'll figure that out as it goes. I wonder if that, like, if it's supposed to be, if you ground it, it might go to very hot. I'll just check that out. Yeah, so if you put a power to it, it goes up. So, don't know. If you ground it, it goes back down. So anyhow, something's going on there. Have to figure that out. Yeah, I now had it running again. Borrowed the cap from TR7. Fits perfectly. Muddy water. The water's not too clear, so I'll run it a couple of more times, but I ran myself out of fuel, so I'm not going to run it anymore today. Seems to be okay and not steaming. The temperature gauge not functioning yet, but I did check the electricity over here. This one here has got 12 volts on it. I don't know, with the key on anyhow. That one there, I don't know what it's got on it. That one there seems to, I think this one comes from the generator, and it didn't seem to have anything on it, so maybe there's, like, it's got to have 12 volts in there and then a signal wire down to the generator and blah blah blah. Anyway, I'll check into that next time I have it running. But before I get too far ahead of myself, the clutch master cylinder, I'm thinking back to how I put that together, and I might have something wrong in there. So I know you're going to go groan. Yeah, do I have to see that again? So no, you don't have to see it, but I'm going to take it apart and I'll tell you if I did have it wrong. Okay? And yes, I did have it wrong. This end here should be, come on, stand up. So that end should be against the back side of the rubber, and then this goes on here, which is I had correct, and then the plunger goes in there, which I had correct. So, but that metal bit here saves the plunger from getting ruined by this. So anyway, there we go. Yeah, they're back together, and I'll once again put it back in the car and bleed the clutch business. The fuel pump down here. Now I'll have to take it off again and get a fitting for that side somehow to fit in there. I thought I had a fitting that would go, but no, it's not there. So I'll see what I can do, see what I can figure out for that other side. Don't know what it needs for sure. Anyway, that's enough for today. The clutch is in there, pedal feels okay. Water seems to be drying up here, so I'll just let it be as it is for now. God, that was stupid of me with this. Anyhow, I ordered a new hose exactly the same as this one, and I'll put it on there. Okay. Yeah, so back again. Hey, actually got started late today. On Saturday, I broke a tooth back here. and dentist got me in today and fixed it up. Hey, so I'm back to normal. Well, as normal as I ever get, right? So now back to this thing. So I put the banjo fitting on the inlet side, and then I've got a little bit of a pipe coming out here that I put a flare on the end of it just so to make a good connection with rubber pipe that I have there. And then this one here, I also like to put this fitting in here, and then there's that fitting that goes in there. So we hope that none of them leak, and see now if I can get the fuel pump back on there, and I don't think I ever had it in there right. It's always been well, being able to get that, I'll show you why. Can you see that right here? Shiny on the top. It should be shiny on the bottom. So I had you got to pull this up somehow and then put it in. So I got to maybe figure that out somehow. Put a rope around it, put it in there. I don't know. I'll see if I can get it in there with it the right way around. Now there's more stuff to get in the way. There was no stuff in the way before, right? Do you see any of this? Likely not. Just my shoulder. Let's have a look down here. See what's going on. Not much light down there. So I've got to somehow pull that lever up and then push it in. Let me see if I can figure that out. I'll put a piece of wire through there and do it. Hang on. Okay, so I put a piece of wire around it, right? And then try pulling up on it. No, it's underneath. You can tell it's underneath by, because it won't move up, eh? I think it's underneath. I think it's on the right spot now. Let's pull it in a bit more and see. I think it's on the right spot. I don't know. Let's see if we can get this wire out of here now. And I'll put it in and see. Yeah, that's in the right spot now, because it's got pressure on it that way, see? So that's good. I hit it with that actuator on the wrong side of the cam. So it was pushing down on it all the time instead of pushing up. So of course I wasn't going to get any action out of it. Okay, now I'll put those bolts back on and see if I can get it all back together here. And this pipe, because that's turned off right now, and I've got it hooked onto another pipe here that goes into the bottom of the fuel thing, the pump down there. Let me get a light, I'll show you. Oh, there's a light right there. How do you like that? Yeah, so it goes into the bottom of the fuel thing there, and then through the fuel pump and up this side here, and I got a hose going across to here. Didn't put a filter in it. That's a filter right there in the thing. So we'll be happy with that, I think. Anyhow, now I know for sure that this leaks, but we'll see if we can get fuel to go into the carburetor from this. Might take a bit of running. We'll see it in the in there if it's going to work. Anyway, give me a minute to get set up. Fuel's leaking right here. Which one? From here. Guess that's got to be tighter. Yeah, I think I got all the fuel leaks stopped. This was leaking. This was leaking. Not leaking anymore. So if it's above the machine, it goes right through the pump and up into here on gravity. So I'll get it started, then I'll put this down below somewhere and see if it pumps up. Right? Okay, we'll try that out. See what happens. See if it starts. Give it a couple of pumps here. Yeah, oh yeah, there's lots of fuel coming out there. Fuel everywhere. Okay, I'll just set you up right here and just see what happens. Okay, here we go. So I have something on hook. That should be signal, yeah. Running. Can't really tell if it's pumping or not. I think it is. So I'll put this down below. That's lower than the fuel pump. So we'll see if it runs out of gas here. I think it's pumping. Yeah, it seems to be staying at the right level there. Car is running. Give it 5 minutes to warm up. That's cool, hey? Draws lots of water and lots of air through the fan. Yeah, fuel pump's working, so. Still a couple of like that little banjo fitting there. It's leaking a little bit. I'd have to get some new coppers for it. But for the most part, everything seems to be. I have to do some work on the muffler system. There I turned this idle mixture screw out until it was running faster. Then I turned this idle control switch out until it slowed down to a nice speed. So that's idling nice there now. That's cool. The motor runs really nicely. It lost all that noise down here. I don't think there's any noise at all in the top end. I'll put a screwdriver up against that listening device. And look at that, the fuel is just flowing nicely. Using it up. Yep, well I think we got a winner here. Well, so far. Combust to go. Yeah, so I put my listening device up against here, all the way along there. And I just put that end up to here. And it's like a stethoscope. No noises at all. A little bit of tapping noise from the, but I'll get around to taking that cover off and doing the valve adjustment on it here one of these days. Let it run for a while first though. Yeah, so it's warmed up good now. The temperature on the radiator is 70 degrees. Temperature on top of the thermostat 66. Temperature on the bottom plate is pegged as 46, so the radiator is working. 66 in there. 60 degrees in there. 129 on the back front exhaust. 117 on the rear exhaust. 75, 62, 58, 58. So it's all pretty good temperature. 80 degrees would be, whoa, like 80 degrees would be boiling, like hot temperature in a car. Cool. Yeah, there. That's enough for today. Like everything's okay. The oil's still full, not leaking excessively. Got my charging system back on here. Now I'll see about maybe tomorrow, now that I've got a fuel system hooked up, which I can put somewhere back there out of the way. That's quite cool that that thing works. And so fuel pump works, carburetor marginally works. Mostly, I think if I got this fixed, then I'll check for any vacuum leaks. I don't have an air filter for it, so I'll have to scrounge one of those somehow. Maybe I'll use one off the, I don't know what I'll use. We'll figure that out. Then I want to do a little bit of work on this voltage regulator, or just on the wiring, to see if I can figure out what's up with the wiring. Like here, there's some interesting stuff here. This is a wire that's going for the reverse light. Like when that pulls up, it gets a reverse light somehow or other. But that's a household, half of a household wire. There's, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyhow, I'll figure out that stuff. That's just a switch there for reverse lights, and if I have to, I'll just put a manual switch on the dash, so switch it on, go to reverse, and switch it off, sort of thing. Anyhow, it's coming along all right. We'll just see what else we get going on it. Yeah, I think I'll just cut this video off here. What did I get done? I got hey, I've got a water system in here that holds water. Not too murky today. And got a fuel system that works from there, from that massive tank right there, but it pumps it through up to the carburetor and makes it run. That's pretty good progress. And I did some more work on the clutch thing there, which you didn't want to watch anyhow. So now seems to be coming along all right. Motor seems to run pretty well. Got to start chasing the exhaust system down a bit, and I'll hook the drive shaft up to the rear end and try out the transmission next time. Anyway, that's all for this one. Hope you enjoyed it all. Make sure you tell all your friends. Bye for now. Yeah, okay, here's Buster and I out. But here's something interesting. On the front of the house here, the lights are on. Now, I went onto the Amazon and I got a smart light switch or two, and then the smart light switch is set on those outdoor lights, because every time I'd come home it was always dark. So I've got it set, and then you can program it, which is cool, to be raining as usual here. You can program it to turn on at sunset, whatever time zone you're in. It turns on at sunset at Halifax, and it turns off at then I've got it set to turn off at 10:30 in the evening, which is when I'm going to bed, or around about then anyhow. But it's nice to be able to come in and it lights. So I've got another switch, and I'm going to put it on the back deck and set that one to do the same thing, just so I've got light. Oh, there you go, doggy, have a pee. And that's all right. Where did that dog go? He disappeared so fast. Okay, come on, Buster, this way. Anyway, and it's exceptionally dark around here, except for my house. And there's the neighbors down over there. That's the McFarland's way over there. But that's all. That's just me and them. Us and them. Yeah. Anyway, these ones are all summer cottages. Anyway, the nice and cheery now. Like, we'll zoom into that a bit. And that's good. Okay, there you go.